This is a publication of the soysefardi.org portal. Today, we're diving into an absolutely incredible story of high drama, faith, and deception. The tale of Rabbi Hayim Benveniste and his historic confrontation with Shabbetai Zevi, a man who claimed to be the Messiah. And right away, this story makes you ask a really tough question. How on earth could one of the sharpest minds of his time, a man who was a pillar of Jewish law and tradition, get swept up in a movement led by a false Messiah? To even begin to understand that, we have to look at the world he was living in. So to answer that, let's go back. We're starting in the Ottoman Empire, which back in the 17th century was this buzzing, thriving hub for Sephardic Jews. Seriously, for them, this was a true golden age. Okay, so picture this. It's 1492 and the Jews are tragically expelled from Spain. While so many doors were slammed shut, the Ottoman Sultan Bayezid II did something amazing. He sent out a formal invitation welcoming the Jewish exiles. This created a real safe haven, and it's into this world of refuge and culture that our main character, Rabbi Hayim Benveniste, was born in 1603. And let me tell you, Benveniste wasn't just some ordinary guy. He was from a very distinguished rabbinic family with roots all the way back in Spain. He was a genuine prodigy, studying with the biggest names of the era, and get this, he became a chief rabbi in the major city of Smyrna when he was just 21 years old. Can you believe that? 21. He was the definition of a respected authority. But, into this very stable world of books and tradition, a totally disruptive and unbelievably charismatic figure was about to arrive. And he was going to tap into a very deep, very real pain and a desperate hope for redemption. In 1665, the name Shabbetai Zevi was on everyone's lips. A messianic fervor, the kind that hadn't been seen in centuries, just swept across the entire Jewish world. From Sephardic communities in the Ottoman Empire to Ashkenazi ones in Europe, the guy was a phenomenon. But why? Why was he so popular? Well, this quote really gets to the heart of it. Generations of suffering had created this deep, powerful longing for an end to exile. People were just desperate, and as the quote says, they blindly clung to anything that looked like a ray of hope. And Shabbetai Zevi, he was offering them the sun. So you can see where this is headed, right? A collision course was set. This was going to be a massive showdown. And it wasn't just about two men. It was a clash between two huge forces, the stability of the law versus the irresistible pull of charisma. And this lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have Rabbi Benveniste. He is the voice of centuries of established law, of order, of tradition. On the other side, Shabbetai Zevi. He is all charisma, all popular appeal, and he's making this intoxicating promise of redemption right here, right now. And these two forces were about to collide on one single fateful day, December 12th, 1665, a Sabbath. Shabbetai Zevi, knowing he had the crowds behind him, makes his big move. He literally storms the main synagogue in Smyrna, the very heart of Rabbi Benveniste's authority. And this wasn't some quiet debate in an office. Oh no, this was a public, direct, face-to-face confrontation, the charismatic leader looking the chief rabbi right in the eye in front of his entire congregation. In that moment, the people in that synagogue had to choose. And, swept out by Zevi's powerful personality and their own deep desperation for change, they turned on their own leader. Rabbi Benveniste was overpowered. His colleague, Rabbi Aharon Lapapa, who also opposed Zevi, was kicked out of the city. On that day, charisma won. So for the next 9 months, Shabbetai Zevi was essentially in charge. His followers were celebrating, thinking redemption had finally arrived. But this period wouldn't end in glory. It would end in what's known as the Great Disappointment. All this commotion eventually got the attention of the Ottoman Sultan. Zevi was called in, and according to the story, the Sultan gave him a test. He basically said, all right, if you're really the Messiah, let's see it. I'll have my best archers shoot 10 arrows at you. If you're still standing, I'll become your follower. Well, Shabbetai Zevi wisely refused that little test. So the Sultan gave him a much simpler and much starker choice: convert to Islam or be executed. And faced with this ultimate test of his own message, the man who claimed to be the Messiah chose to convert. Can you just imagine the shockwave? The news spread like wildfire. The collective hope that had burned so brightly was just snuffed out. The dream was over.
The disillusionment was catastrophic, and the pain felt in communities all over the world, especially in Turkey, was just immense.
But listen, this story isn't just about deception, it's also a story about resilience. So let's look at how Rabbi Benveniste responded to all this and how he rebuilt not just his community, but his own lasting legacy, right from the ashes of this crisis. He went back to his true strength, his books and his scholarship. He produced two absolutely monumental works. First, the Knesset Haggadah, which is this huge, essential commentary on the code of Jewish law. And second, Bai Haye, a collection of his answers to real-life questions his community was asking. And here's what's so cool. That second book, Bai Haye, has become more than just a legal text. Because it's dealing with real problems from real people, it's now an incredible historical document. It gives us this amazing, detailed window into what daily life was like for Jews in 17th century Turkey. So, what was the final verdict on Rabbi Benveniste, his ultimate vindication? Well, it comes from this powerful statement by a later sage, Rabbi Judah. He said that a rabbi simply cannot issue a proper ruling without first consulting Benveniste's Knesset HaGadolah. In the end, the voice of law and tradition became the indispensable authority for generations to come. And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? What truly defines a person's legacy? Is it that one dramatic moment of crisis they're caught up in, or is it the steady, patient, and profound way they respond to it? If you want to dive deeper into this incredible story, our main source for this explainer was soysefardi.org, which cited halata.org. For some excellent external verification, you absolutely have to check out Gershom Shalom's masterpiece, Shabbetai Zevi, The Mystical Messiah, and of course, the entry on Benveniste in the Jewish Encyclopedia.
This has been a publication of the soysefardi.org portal. Thanks for listening.